It's reading time with Nana. Today's story is entitled The Cookie Jar, but this story doesn't have any pictures. So because it doesn't have any pictures, I want you to imagine what the story is all about. I want you to imagine in your head what the pictures would look like. And then I want you to draw it on paper. Draw what you see, that you hear. And then send it to me. I would love to see your drawings. This story has a few characters. It has the old woman, the old man, Miss McGillicuddy, the old pussycat, and the red bird. So let's see what this story is about. Then make sure you draw it and send me the pictures. The old cookie jar. No, it's just called the cookie jar. Let's start again. The cookie jar. There we go. Old pussycat opened her eyes early one morning. For some reason, she felt very naughty. Her nose twitched, her tail twitched, and she was restless. She crept quietly out from under the old woman's bed, peeked over the side, and could see that she was still sound asleep. The old woman was also snoring and puffing like a steam engine. Old pussycat thought it best not to bother her. Maybe she could do some things she usually wasn't allowed to do if she kept real quiet. Now, the night before, the old woman had baked some special cookies for Miss McGillicuddy. She had covered them lightly with a napkin instead of the cookie jar lid so they wouldn't steam as they were still warm. It goes without saying that old pussycat was just crazy about cookies, and these were peanut butter, her very, very favorite kind. Old pussycat sailed lightly up the kitchen counter. There stood a plump cookie jar, just bursting with cookies and loving smells. Dare she? Yes, she dared. Her nose gently pushed the napkin aside, and with one quick swoop of a paw, she snatched a cookie, jumped down, and ran under the bed to feast on the cookie. The old woman stirred and half woke up, thinking she heard a mouse gnawing. But old pussycat came out again and stole another cookie. She kept this up until she had eaten 4 altogether, and they were quite large. Suddenly, the old woman leaped out of bed. "Oh my!" she cried. "I overslept, and I was to be at Miss McGillicuddy's at 10 o'clock. She scurried around and was so busy she didn't notice the uncovered cookie jar. But when she came to pick it up, she saw that it was uncovered and that the supply of cookies had shriveled somewhat. Before she could get any ideas, she heard a low moan from the region of her bed. "Come, old pussycat," she called. No response. Getting down on her hands and knees, the old woman peered under the bed and saw a pathetic sight. Old pussycat was lying on her side, and her poor belly was very fat and swollen. The old woman raked her out with a dust mop and laid her gently on the bed. Suddenly, the light dawned. The uncovered cookie jar, the groaning and aching belly. Only one thing to do. The old woman marched to the cupboard, took down a bottle of horrid tasting medicine from the vet's office, and got out the medicine dropper. She drew up a big dose of the vile stuff. Old Pussycat saw her coming, but she felt too ill to object. Squirt! The nasty medicine was in her mouth, and the old woman stroked old Pussycat's throat, so she had to swallow. Then the old woman laid old Pussycat in a big cardboard box, and in just 5 minutes, what do you think happened? The cookies all came up, and the swollen, churning belly was thin again. But oh, how old Pussycat hated the whole affair. She still felt very weak, so she was allowed to nest on top of the bed with a small heating pad to warm her. And when the old woman went out the door, old Pussycat was very glad to see her depart with the cookie jar tucked under her arm. All appetite for peanut butter cookies was gone. Just as the front door was closing, the red bird sang loudly, "Tweet, tweet, 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 tweet," as if to say, be sure your sins will find you out. That's all for today. Remember to draw a picture of what you heard and send it to me.